The year is 2014. Steven Gerrard is still chasing his first Premier League title. Luis Suarez is unstoppable, and Liverpool is bursting with potential. But we all know how that season ended. Well, not this time. I'm back with another retro career mode. This time diving into FIFA 14 with one mission: to rewrite Liverpool's history. Looking at this Liverpool squad, there are some clear strengths and some glaring weaknesses. Leading the way is club captain Steven Gerrard. He's past his prime, but still has one last shot to finally lift a Premier League title. Then there's Luis Suarez, without question the star of the team. He's head and shoulders above the rest in terms of rating, and was already viewed as a world-class talent by most clubs. All this ties into our three main goals for this series. First, win a Premier League title for Steven Gerrard, his long-awaited crowning moment. Second, continue Suarez's dominance at Liverpool and win him the Golden Boot. And third, fix the defense, Liverpool's biggest weakness during the real-life 2013-14 season. And here's the twist, we're doing all of it with Jurgen Klopp at the helm. This ties into my last retro video where I rebuilt Dortmund, and now we're exploring an alternate timeline where Klopp joins Liverpool before the 2013-14 season instead of having Brendan Rodgers in charge. All this ties in nicely to the in-game objectives of finishing top 4 in the Premier League to qualify for the Champions League, and also reaching the final of a domestic cup. We have roughly 18 million to work with in our transfer budget. I definitely want to spend a good chunk of that focused on developing our youth academy. We'll be scouting England in the season to come to search for a technically gifted talent. I would say the most promising youth academy player that came out of Liverpool's academy in the years to come was Trent Alexander-Arnold, but we've got another youth academy talent still at the club with Raheem Sterling. Of course, he went a different route in his career, transferring to Manchester City, but he could become a Liverpool star by staying with us in this series. I do think we have a clear lack of depth at left back, and I'd like to explore Ricardo Rodriguez as a transfer option. At the time, he was one of Europe's top young fullbacks. Freshly into his 20s, he's a key player for Wolfsburg, and even in the season to come, stood out at the 2014 World Cup with Switzerland. Known for his deadly left foot, pinpoint crosses, and set-piece ability, he's going to bring both creativity and a defensive solidarity to the left flank. While we have options besides Jose Enrique at left back, I don't think players like Ali Sissoko and John Flanagan are going to be long-term solutions. Rodriguez is going to bring immediate quality as a backup left back, and in a Jurgen Klopp system built on pace, pressing, and attacking fullbacks, he's going to thrive. You've also got to keep in mind that Klopp is coming straight from Dortmund, so having some transfers tied to the Bundesliga makes sense. At just $5 million for a transfer fee, this is going to be an exciting signing. Very solid stats across the board. We just need to look to develop Rodriguez over time. And even as we start to get into some matches, we kick off the season with a 4-1 win in our opening preseason tournament, drawing to Stade Rennais and losing to Lille. We've got Stoke for our Premier League opener, a side that I would call consistently mid-table, so a tough opponent as we look to start things at Anfield. I am really excited to show off some of this gameplay. FIFA 14 was a groundbreaking game because it was the first release on the next-gen consoles, the Xbox One and PS4, and that means a big uptick in graphics compared to what we had to work with FIFA 13. But even just in general, the gameplay is a lot more enjoyable, at least for me, compared to what we've got to work with FC 25. But there is the main man, Luis Suarez, walking out onto the pitch as we begin our chase for the Golden Boot. The Stoke City starting 11, I would say, is most known for their defensive prowess, so it's going to be difficult for us to get any goals past them. But 26 minutes in, we've got a set piece. Good save there from Sorensen to start things off, and we'll start building up from the back. It's going to be Johnson down this right side, playing the pass in the middle to Suarez. He's going to have an effort. It is deflected by the keeper. Couple of saves, and we are very lucky for Raheem Sterling to finally get there in the end and open up the scoring for Liverpool and this 2013-2014 season. Stoke is not going to sit in their misery too long, though. Charlie Adam pushing the ball forward, finding Arnautovic out wide. That's a throwback for him in the Premier League. He's going to play it through to Adam, and would you call this a kickoff glitch? I don't know, but regardless, Stoke is going to answer right away. We've got an even game heading into the 30th minute, and we're looking to respond right away as well. It's Sturridge down the right side. He's going to look for a pass in the middle, eventually finding Coutinho. His shot going narrowly wide. We're still before the end of the first half here. Unlucky to hit the post or the crossbar there from Luis Suarez. Stoke trying to make something happen, and we're into the 2 minutes of added extra time. A great through ball played, really showcasing why we're looking to strengthen this defense, because that is still the weak point in this Liverpool team. I thought we would give Rodriguez his debut as he gets brought on at the left back position, the number 13 for Liverpool. We're going to see some action for him right away. Sterling, the young prospect, finding him down this left flank. He's going to push the ball forward, floating across, just trying to make something happen, and Suarez does manage to get onto the end of it. I love the fact that you can actually score headers in this game. I'll be honest, I haven't played FC 25 gameplay in several months, but I know at least a few months ago it was impossible to score headers, so there's something that's so satisfying off scoring from a cross. At this point, we are looking to play relatively passive, but also take our moments when they're given to us. Sterling with a good cut inside to get it on his right foot. And even here, we're drawing some pressure from the Stoke City players and finding the open pass. Eventually, Suarez plays through Sturridge, and that is going to mean 3 separate goal scorers for this Liverpool team. Sterling, Suarez, and Sturridge may all manage to get on the board. This was a really good finish from the young and versatile striker. We've got him playing out wide, and he's certainly got the pace for that. But it sums up really well the strengths of this Liverpool team. We're going to score goals, that's no doubt. It's just a matter of whether our defense can let in few enough goals that we still see victory. It's a promising start to the season, but can we carry that same momentum in the early months? Our final match before the end of the summer transfer window is a 3-0 victory against Aston Villa. That'll pit us against Manchester United as we go into September. They've made the top signing of the summer, bringing in Thiago Silva from PSG. It's a matter of seeing if that strong Manchester United defense can counterbalance our top attack. Another thing I really like about these older FIFA saves is exploring the alternate reality. In some cases, FIFA is able to predict real transfers that actually happened. In this case, it was several years later that Thiago Silva made his move to the Premier League, joining Chelsea, but it would have been amazing to see him in his prime competing against a Luis Suarez within the league. But this Manchester United starting 11 is no joke. They are certainly title contenders. They've got a prime Wayne Rooney, Shinji Kagawa that we also know well from his Dortmund days. But we're going to start with the first highlight just 5 minutes in. It's Sturridge who plays the ball in the middle to Gerrard. We're trying out some of those finesse shots and not having too much luck, but it's going to be an injury early on to our defender. Skirtle being brought out and Agar being brought in. He actually started the season with an injury, so this is more or less his debut, and I don't mind it because he's actually a higher rated player than Skirtle. But it's Valencia that plays through Rooney. Good save though from Mignolet. The cross sent in over to Ashley Young on the left side, and we eventually are able to get that one cleared because of a foul from Young. A little bit controversial there, but play essentially stopped, so I don't mind it. 32nd minute, Kagawa finding Fellaini, the versatile box-to-box CM, finds Rooney, and it looks like these headers are going to be something we see pretty often. It's a light header from Rooney, but he got enough on it to redirect the ball and get it by Mignolet. We're trying to answer once again right after kickoff as Sturridge finds Johnson. Back to Sturridge. He's going to chop the ball inside and have a go. De Gea, though, able to make the stop on his near post. It's Rooney once again in the 48th minute who plays Valencia out wide. The cross sent in the middle, and off the cross, this time it's going to be Rooney who just gets enough of the ball to redirect it and find the back of the net. Now we're chasing 2 goals, and we have a bit of trouble on our hands. An amazing bit of vision from Suarez to play it over to Coutinho. I don't know how he missed that chance, but we're clearly creating chances. We just need to find a way to do better on both ends of the ball. A huge mistake once again from our defense. We scramble and ultimately are able to get it cleared. But I think as we move forward into future episodes and future transfer windows, we need to keep making upgrades. This time it's going to be an offside call, so we don't even manage to score a goal as we close out this 90 minutes. 2 goals from Rooney sees a victory for Manchester United. We'll continue simulating months at a time. Victories against Swansea, Southampton, West Brom, and Sunderland see us through September as we head into October. We'll continue our winning ways against Crystal Palace, finally dropping some points to Newcastle, but quickly rebounding with victories against West Brom and a win against Bolton in the Capital One Cup. We defeat Fulham pretty resoundingly, and that brings us to the Merseyside derby against Everton. A match that I know y'all are looking forward to watching, and I think the news segment of this game is so much better than it is in FC 25. But really the only change to our starting 11 is we've got Rodriguez now as a permanent left back. I've been really impressed with his performances. With this game now being over a decade old, I sometimes forget some of the players that featured for this Everton squad at the time. Tim Howard in the back. I completely forgot how much of a strong presence, an American presence they had in their starting 11. But regardless of my admiration for Tim Howard and what he contributed to the U.S. men's national team and the Premier League as a whole, I definitely do want to win this match. He does manage to make a great save against Suarez early on, and even a double save to deny our effort. It's Morales who started the attack here for Everton. We're doing well to get the ball cleared and a couple of good defensive stops to keep the match level. We're late into the game, the 78th minute, and Sturridge, again, down this right side, his pace is just electric, burning by so many players, eventually finding Suarez in the middle, and this duo, I think that we're going to be scoring a lot of goals and creating a lot of assists between them. It was enough to give us the lead and ultimately the victory as we added another win and another clean sheet to our tally this season. With the Merseyside derby now behind us, we can push on in the home stretch for the January transfer window. We'll certainly take a point against Arsenal and defeat Hull City as we get into December through to the semifinals of the Capital One Cup, defeating West Ham 3-1 as we get a good stretch of wins, getting wins against Spurs, Norwich, Cardiff, and Manchester City. Chelsea's our final match before January, and we do lose that one. But that'll bring a close to the first half of the season. As things stand, we are second in the Premier League, 1 point behind Manchester United. Our starting 11 has seen some changes relative to the start of the year. A few talking points. We've got Gerrard, who is staying consistent at his 83 rating, declining in his stats, but the big question mark is whether or not he will retire at the end of the season. As demonstrated by the gameplay, Suarez is just crushing it, going up +2 in his rating. A lot of those technical stats are getting better and better. We have started to get some interest from clubs abroad. A fair offer from Bayern, well above his valuation, but there's no way I'm going to let him go this January transfer window when we're in a title race. I more or less want to see how our squad can perform as they stand, winning against Hull City, defeating Stoke City in a new competition with the FA Cup, drawing against Manchester City in the Capital One Cup, another win against Stoke in the Premier League. Wins against Aston Villa and Fulham will bring us to the second leg of this semi-final in the Capital One Cup. Here's how the competition has gone thus far. Honestly, both us and City have had fairly easy opponents, but this one had 30 minutes added on, and Chiellini destroyed our dreams, scoring in the 119th minute, which, due to away goals, gave Manchester City the win on aggregate and knocked us out of the competition. It's upsetting to lose out on the Capital One Cup, but I've got a lot of hopes for us in other competitions. Just to give some context how much that 40 million offer meant, the top deal in January was just 13 million, Benzema to Inter. I would love to get your input in the comments section what you want Luis Suarez's role to be in this series, whether you want him to stay at the club or whether you want him to leave and we reinvest some funds elsewhere. But we went on a pretty good streak of winning matches. That sort of all changed against Cardiff City, an unlikely opponent to lose against. But at that point, we started dropping a lot of these Premier League fixtures. I think I counted 6 consecutive Premier League losses in total, which is absolutely ridiculous considering our form. We finally managed to turn things around in May, but I think it's going to be a little too late. The one thing that we do have going for us is that we're through to the FA Cup final against Spurs. Our road to the final was well sought out, defeating Manchester United in the semi-final, and this is a chance for us to finally lift some silverware. Taking a look at the Premier League standings, I think FIFA 14 has been really realistic in that we have essentially collapsed when we were on track to win the Premier League title. Still taking a second place finish and guaranteeing our place in the Champions League next year. United winning the league with Chelsea and Manchester City rounding out the top 4. As for the relegation zone, it's Norwich, Sunderland, and Crystal Palace Let's see the drop to the championship. QPR reached the Centurion mark, Bolton also securing automatic promotion, and Watford win the championship playoff to join them in the Premier League. Another positive from the season is that Suarez takes the Golden Boot with 23 goals. That means we can officially check off our first goal of the series. We've still got a lot left to do, but I think the other 2 goals are also very much achievable. I can't stress how important Suarez is to our attack. He also led the Premier League in assists. Mignolet also had the most clean sheets in the league. We didn't have the best defense, allowing a few more goals than Manchester United, so I'm not going to check off this objective. I do want to go ahead and do a deep dive of the spreadsheet I use to keep track of stats. If you want to take a look at this in more detail, I have it linked in the description, but the main category that I like to start with is the rating growth. You can see a couple of these younger players that were sent out on loan saw good growth. I do want to highlight, though, that Rodriguez saw a +4 in his rating, now up to a 78 overall. I think he is definitely competing to be our first choice left back, considering his performances as well. Also want to note some of these players in their early to mid 20s going up +3 in their rating, like Barini, Luis Alberto, Coates. It's going to make our decisions a little bit more difficult as we start thinking about squad depth. But of course, we do want to highlight the top goals, top assists, and all that sort of stuff. Suarez leading the way with 30 goals and 14 assists. That was about 9 goals for every 10 games, so he's definitely going to be difficult for us to replace regardless of what we do in the future. Again, leave your feedback in the comment section how you want him to be part of this series. We either keep having him score goals, or we sell him for a lot of funds and use those funds to reinvest elsewhere. I was pleasantly surprised with Sterling only going up +2 in his rating, but he also had a lot of goal contribution, 22 goals and 6 assists across 49 appearances. Pretty much our front 4 all were the top goal scorers for the club. But without further ado, we'll close out the gameplay for Season 1 with this FA Cup final against Spurs. We're off to Wembley for this one, a match that won't mean too much for what competitions we are in next season, but certainly one to withhold our reputation and our trajectory for this series. We're always looking to win trophies, and after coming up short in the Premier League, a win in the FA Cup would certainly help some of our morale going into Season 2, and even attract some more players to the club should we try to hit up the transfer market. But Christian Eriksen, a new Spurs signing at the time, is going to showcase a first long shot we've seen of the episode so far. That was well outside the 18-yard box. A good strike from the Dane. He, of course, had a great career at Spurs and is still playing strong well into his 30s now. But it's a moment that we're definitely not going to look back on for Mignolet. He's statistically done well, leading the Premier League in clean sheets, and we were the second best defense in the league. From a ratings perspective, I think there's a lot more we can do. I think it's going to be interesting whether or not we decide to replace him because, as you all know, things didn't exactly work out for Mignolet at Liverpool. I think the club had higher hopes for him than where he ended up. But Luis Suarez, what a striker he is, and a great chance created. Well saved, though, by Lloris. He's going to be tough to beat in these last 40 minutes or so. But we're going to keep up the pressure, and we get a nice interception there by Lucas Leiva. He's going to build it out from the back, and we've got some short, quick passes. Eventually, Coutinho playing a nice 1-2 between him and Suarez into a little bit of space, and as we've done several times in this episode, we just find the pass in the middle. This time, it is going to be Daniel Sturridge that opens up the scoring for us and brings this match level. It was a good goal, and we were certainly building towards it. It definitely changed the momentum of this game because the Spurs defense started to collapse. Really an unnecessary mistake out of the back, holding on to the ball too long. And this was just hilarious, seeing the entire Liverpool squad doing the wave to get ahead in the FA Cup. But 64th minute, we were just piling on the pressure. This time it's going to be Sterling. 1-1 between him and Lloris. This should more or less seal the game, but it's another good stop by the French goalkeeper. It was still enough for us to win this match. A brace from Sturridge sees us out for a 2-1 victory and our first silverware of the episode. A tough moment for Spurs. I can't even mention anymore that they've gone a long time without winning a trophy since my last episode, because they did go on to win the Europa League. A lot has changed since my last upload. But for those of you still watching, I do want to mention that I want these uploads to be more consistent. I'm just trying to have fun with it, and we'll see what happens. But a big part of that is the interaction and discourse between me and you. I really like to incorporate comments into these series, so the more that you guys are involved in the comment section in decisions, I think the more likely I'll be uploading these videos. So let me know in the comments what direction you want this save to go, what signings you'd like to see, and what departures from the club you think I should make. Anyways, Barcelona win the Champions League on a penalty kick shootout against Bayern. Spurs redeemed themselves with a win in the Europa League against PSG, so we might match up against them in the Champions League next year. And domestically, City do get the win against Manchester United in the Capital One Cup. All in all, it was a super season according to the board, and we've got a lot going for us heading into next year. Here's what our starting 11 does look like. It goes without saying that we need to continue making improvements to our defense, but with 27 million, we're going to make signings somewhere. That number could go up because interest is being shown by both Real Madrid and Bayern for Suarez. I think that fee would probably be in the 50 million range should we let him go. It would of course be realistic with Suarez's career trajectory in real life, but we've also got a youth academy player that we can follow throughout this save. Neil Ilasanye, 65 to 69 overall center midfielder with 87 to 93 potential. Our goal for next season is to try and win practically every competition. Let me know in the comments what realistic signings you think can help make it so we achieve those feats.